New Journal and Guide. Subscribe today.
Of ethics. Are we putting re-election before good public policy? What role should ethics play in how we deal with these issues before us, whether it's local, federal, or state?
Well, I think it plays a very important role in whatever you do. I don't care what it is. Whatever you do or wherever you are, ethics plays a tremendous amount. It's very, very important. I often give a talk to students in schools, and one of the areas I say that you really have to focus on is your value system. I mean, you really do, because you cannot lie, steal, and cheat and expect to succeed. It just won't work. It may work for a short term, but it won't work on the long term. So, so ethics plays a really tremendous, significant role in whatever you do. I think that's the one thing. You can be successful. You can be successful in a lot of things, but eventually that success will catch up with you if you don't have the right moral and honesty and values that you should have. It'll catch up with you eventually. My classic example is Hitler. He did a lot of good things for the German people. If you look back at history, he got the trains running on time. He did a lot of really what they wanted, but his value system was all screwed up. Let's face it, his value system was all screwed up. And that's why eventually he fell. And it was inevitable as far as I'm concerned. If you look back at history, that those individuals who don't have the right value system, they will fail. And that's what happened. And so ethics and government ethics and whatever you do, ethics with your family, whatever it is just very, very important.
Well, one of the things we have to remind ourselves frequently is why we ran to begin with. And that you have a lot of choices to make along the way. And again, in crime policy, some of the stupidest, silliest crime policy proposals are packaged in rhymes and sound bites. There's an old adage that no good politician ever votes for a crime bill named after somebody. Because the first witness at the panel is somebody for whom this would be a good crime bill, where it may be horrible, violate principles, Constitution, everything else. I mean, something like three strikes and you're out. So as if jailing some 80-year-old person who can't get up and down the cell block without his walker, spending $30,000, $50,000, or $100,000 a year, including medical expenses, keeping him locked up, thinking that's doing anything about juvenile crime. But you don't want to vote against the crime if they named it after somebody. Yeah, it's going to have adverse consequences. So we need to remind ourselves why we ran and just have the confidence that if you're doing the right thing, people will respond. It's not always easy. A lot of people get voted out of office, and Scott has pointed out what happens when you make these. It helps you get elected when you sign all these silly pledges about what you're not going to do on taxes. Then you get in office, and the common law arithmetic, just fundamental principles of arithmetic, show that pledge makes no sense. Now you're in a political box, and Scott is one of the few people to talk about statesmen to blurt out the idea that we have to recognize arithmetic, and you can't get there honoring this kind of pledge.
And I'll give you my perspective of 16 months in public service. I remember vividly sitting next to a friend of mine that I made, just a colleague had gotten elected in the same election way, a Republican. We were talking about re-election, and he said, Scott, my district is set up in such a way, he said, I have to be convicted of a felony to not be returned. And
If you
they're
get the nomination.
okay.
If you get the nomination.
Well,
So he has to look.
you're taking it too literally.
The concern is, on many of these seats are safe for one party. If you get
Yes.
nominated, you're home free.
Yes.
And your problem is coming from the far extreme.
There you go. Yeah, Bobby's making the point. I think this gentleman was in an R plus 22 district. There are D plus 22 districts, and And the members who are in that range, not only are they not rewarded generally, there's always some exceptions, but not only are they not rewarded for finding common ground, they're punished.
This production has been brought to you by Image Entertainment.